Hey guys, Probo1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the Fifth Doctor. And I can actually have this since it's a story where the Fifth Doctor has his Sonic. We're going to talk about 4 to Doomsday. I just rewatched this recently. It was only my second time to see it. I really liked this story the first time I watched it. It was one of my favorite from season 19, one of my favorite Davison stories. So I was kind of curious to see if my opinion would change on it. And it has, but only slightly. I don't like it quite as much as I used to, but I still like it a lot. It is a really good story. I think it's still one of my favorite Davison stories. I think it's a nice adventure. It's a good 4-parter. You know, as a 6-parter, it might have been drawn out or something. I really like in the 80s when they were doing a lot of 4-parters. I think that's a good length. I enjoyed Davison a lot in this one. Like when he's talking to Tegan, he's like, "You're messing up my concentration." But I especially like when he's talking to Adric, that part when he's basically telling Adric he's an idiot. Now listen, you little idiot. Here's what we're going to do. He's tricking you, and he's explaining what Monarch is actually up to. The way Davison acts that, 'cause he's talking quietly because he doesn't want to arouse suspicion, but he's still keeping that happy look on his face, like, look cheerful, look happy, don't let on what I'm telling you. I really like how Davison does that whole scene. Really like Davison a lot in this story. I do think he plays the Doctor really well. Even like when he's smiling to the camera, you know, when he's trying to lull him into a false sense of security, he's just like... I like when he first notices at the beginning the camera looking at him, he just smiles at it. "Well, hello there." "Well, hello there." I love that. Adric is... I don't know, I guess it just shows how Adric thinks about things different than most people. Matthew Waterhouse isn't irksome in this story, but I don't like Adric as a character in this story. Just how he sees things from such a different point of view. He is a bit gullible and naive, which he is young, and I guess that does create some nice friction in the group. And I like how Tegan's not putting up with any crap from him. I like Tegan a lot in this story. Well, parts of Tegan I like in this story, parts of Tegan I don't. I hate when she's getting frustrated in the TARDIS trying to work it. She should have known there's no way she's going to be able to work the TARDIS, but I guess she's just kind of desperate and frustrated at that point. Nyssa, once again, doesn't get a lot to do. Poor Nyssa, but she was kind of added on as a companion at the last minute, so I guess they had to fit her into scripts. But Sarah and Janet are fine, acting-wise. The story I like, the idea of Monarch and him being this kind of leader who thinks, you know, he's the be-all, end-all of everything. He pretty much has contempt for anything that's not him. I like that. I like him as a character and how he thinks he's more intelligent, you know, the most intelligent, like, creature in the universe, basically. I like enlightenment and persuasion and how they make themselves look more human and how they act slightly more human, like how they question Monarch occasionally. It's really subtle. But them taking on the guise of humans, they kind of slightly adapt some of their mannerisms, some of humans' mannerisms, just slightly. It's really subtle. I still like the actors who play those two, their performances, because they're not human. You can tell that the characters aren't human. They're done very emotionless, for the most part. Very robotic, very wooden, which, since the characters are robots, fits perfectly. They have this very unhuman quality to them that works really well for the characters that I like. And even the other androids pull off not quite being human to being androids really well, like the one that's like from Greece and stuff. I forget his name. I really like him a lot because he still pulls off that not human, not fully emotional, very calm and serene almost. Serene's probably not the right word, but very calm. I like him. I like the fact how it foreshadows everybody being androids without giving it away until, what, the end of part 2, maybe? I really like that. Little foreshadowing things, like when them talking about the flesh time, or them mentioning the flesh being cold, seeing the little circuits on the hands. You know, it really does. And the actual androids acting very emotionless in a lot of the scenes leading up to it. It's a good foreshadow and build, especially if you've seen the story before. You can kind of see the foreshadowing being dropped, that that's what the situation is, which I really enjoyed. I thought the script was written really well. I do think some of the dance scenes go on a little too long, but they're not bothersome. Like, I don't feel like it was a 3-parter. They got padded out into a 4-parter. I just find them a little long, but not to where I find it overly detrimental. I do think the script is written really well. I like that Peter gets to use his Sonic, but he doesn't overuse the Sonic like a lot of modern Who. He's using the Sonic several times, but a lot of times for only 2 or 3 functions. Like, he uses it to spin the little security balls around, and he does that several times, but that's just one function he's using it for, even though he does use it repeatedly to do the same thing, which makes sense in that situation. So I like the fact that Sonic's getting used, but it's not getting used to do like 30 different things in the story. He's just using it to do a handful of things. That's how the Sonic should be used. And it's very, it does show that, you know, the Doctor does need his Sonic. I don't want the Sonic to go away in the show. I just want it to be used more sparingly. So I like, and also I like that version of the Sonic. It looks way better than this. I've noticed in the modern series, whenever they show legacy Sonics like this one, it looks like this little $20 prop, like the one Nardole has, and like the Doctor Falls looks kind of cheap and plasticky like this. Whereas in the one the 4th and 5th Doctor actually had, you know, it was all chromed out. This was a darker red. It looked like an expensive prop. So I wish they would do that in the modern series, spend the money and make a decent looking legacy Sonic instead of buying something for $20 at Barnes & Noble or whatever the equivalent is over in the UK. But yeah, I think the scenes when Davison is out in space looks kind of silly retrospectively, but it's classic Who. You kind of got to let that go. But seeing him kind of floating in the air and seeing his jacket hanging down and being affected by gravity when there's not supposed to be gravity, it does look a little silly, but again, it's classic Who. You have to kind of accept that. I like their little breathing things. I like the fact the script had them wearing the little breathing helmets and how they do come in handy over the course of the story. And I like how simple they are. You can just put it on, flip the thing down. I think that's a really nice design. But yeah, I like Forward to Doomsday. I also like how you slowly, almost like layers of an onion, finding out Monarch's plan, finding out what he's up to, why he's doing what he's doing, whether he's good, whether he's bad, whether he's somewhere in the middle. You know, slowly kind of finding out what exactly is he's up to over the course of the story. I really like. I think it's a really good strip. I think it's a pretty good execution. I hate the fact it was completely studio-based. This is not the story's fault in any way, but since the location filming for Season 19 is kind of the holy grail for location filming, because it all survives on film, that's one of the reasons why I think they released Season 19 so early in the collection range, is they could do true HD scans of the location work. And sadly, this story is all studio bound, so there's no location work that could have survived for it. So I kind of wish this one had been done maybe in Season 20, and we would have gotten another story with more location work for Season 19. So we'd have just, you know, had a little more classic Who in true HD. That'd have been kind of neat. Again, not the story's fault, but just wanted to point that out. So that's my thoughts on Forward to Doomsday. I know it's been a bit of a ramble. I'm really having trouble having a kind of coherent thoughts on this one. I like it. It's not quite as in-depth as I remembered it being. For some reason, I remember the story to me seeming like it was a little more in-depth, and it's not quite. The ending, when he just throws the venom on Monarch and shrinks him, seems a little too convenient. Although it does make sense that Monarch's not a robot like the rest of them, because he does act a bit emotional. He tries to be calm, but he does have some emotional reactions, so that does make sense. I do like the fact that the robots, they can be defeated so easily just by pulling their control chips out, because since Monarch runs everything, he probably wouldn't think that they needed a better defense, because he didn't expect any kind of rebellion. So he never designed a defense for the robots, because he probably never thought he would need it. So it's so easy for them to just reach out, grab their control chips out of their chest and chunk them away. That was pretty neat. I like how they were able to defeat Enlightenment and Persuasion so easily because of that oversight. Because someone like Monarch isn't the kind of person who could possibly ever think he might overlook something. You know, he's very self-assured. You know, that kind of person. So for some reason, I seem to remember it being a little more in depth, but Still really good. Still one of my favorite Davison stories. So let me know what you think of Fort of Doomsday. I'd like to know where it falls kind of on your Davison radar and 80 Stories radar. Comment down below and let me know. I always enjoy hearing what you guys think. I also have a Patreon if you would like to contribute to that. There is a link to that down in the description. Check that out. Have a look at it. My entry-level tier is only $2 a month. But if not, there's other things you can do to help me out. Click the like button. Click the subscribe button. I'm always looking for more subscribers to grow the channel. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.